What happens if a banking transaction disappears from logs? What happens if a healthcare app leaks patient data? This is not just a bug, this is a lawsuit. Let's design mobile systems that survive regulation. What makes an industry high regulated? Three characteristics: sensitive personal data, financial or medical risk, legal compliance requirements. For example, fintech, financial records, healthcare, patient health data, e-commerce, payment, and personal identity. Regulated systems must guarantee data protection, traceability, integrity, accountability. Core architectural requirements. In regulated environments, architecture must support auditability. Every action must be traceable. Data integrity. Data mustn't be tampered with. Access control. Only authorized users can access sensitive data. Encryption everywhere, at rest and in transit. Legal data handling. Right to deletion, consent, tracking, retention policies. This is compliance by design. Audit trails. Audit trails means who did what, and when, and from where, and what it changed. Example in a fintech. User transfers money, so log created, stored immutability, time-stamped, digitally signed, and logs must be tamper resistant, time synchronized, retained according to regulation. Mobile apps must never allow critical action without server logging. Client logs alone aren't enough. Server must be final authority. Secure storage strategy. Sensitive data on device must be protected. Never store plain text tokens. Full credit card numbers. Medical reports unencrypted. Use operating system secure storage, keychain or key store, encrypted local database, hardware, backed encryption when available. Sensitive data strategy. Minimum necessary data, auto expiration, remote wipe capability, device compromise mustn't expose critical data. Encryption strategy. There are two levels: in transit, TLS plus minimum certificate binning, mutual TLS for high security apps, and at rest encrypted database, encrypted backups, and log storage. In fintech, even logs may be encrypted. Encryption keys must never be hard coded. GDPR considerations. The key principles: explicit user consent, right to access data, right to delete data, data portability, minimal data collection, architectural implications. You must design data export endpoints, data deletion workflows, consent tracking database. Data deletion must propagate primary database caches, analytics, backups. E-commerce compliance, PCI DSS. If handling card payments in your project, don't store card data directly. Use tokenization, payment gateway SDKs. Card data should never touch your servers if possible. Architectural rule: outsource risk when possible. Data retention and deletion policies. Regulated system must define how long data is stored, when data must be deleted, when data must be archived. For example, bank transaction history may be retained 7 to 10 years. Healthcare records often longer. System must support retention automation, legal hold flags, archival storage. Retention is architecture, not policy. Access control and identity management. Regulated apps require Rule-based access control, for example, doctor, nurse, admin, auditor. Each rule has different permissions, different visibility. Mobile must enforce UI restrictions, but backend must enforce final authorization. Never trust client-only access control. Monitoring and incident response. Regulated system must detect suspicious login attempts, multiple failed authentication, unusual access patterns, data export anomalies. Architectural components, SIEM integration, real-time alerts, incident response workflow. Security is continuous, not static. Let's take a fintech example. Imagine a user initiates transfer, then app validates locally, backend validates balance, audit log stored, transaction ID generated, notification sent, compliance engine records event. If dispute happens 2 years later, system must reconstruct full history. That's auditability. Architect mindset: when building regulated system, ask yourself, can this action be audited 5 years later? Can data be deleted when user requests? What if device is rooted? What if logs are tampered with? What if compliance team request export or backups encrypted? Regulation changes architecture fundamentally. Mobile systems in regulated industries require immutable audit trails, encryption at rest and in transit, secure device storage, rule-based access control, data retention policies, consent and deletion workflows, backend as final authority. In regulated environments, you don't just build apps, you build legally defensible systems. Thanks for watching and see you next video.